Here are 13 species at risk of extinction, including some that you probably didn't even know existed. The Bornean orangutan. Found only on the island of Borneo, Bornean orangutans Pangolin have a broader face and shorter beard than their cousins, Sumatran orangutans. This July, the IUCN changed their status to critically endangered because the population has declined by 60% since 1950, and, according to Scientific American, new projections estimate that their numbers will fall by another 22% by the year 2025. The main threats for these animals are habitat loss, forests are turned into rubber, oil palm or paper plantations, and illegal hunting. Aggravating the problem, females only reproduce every 6 to 8 years, the longest birth interval of any land mammal, which makes conservation efforts slow. Pika. Pika, Ocontana is a small mammal, only 7 to 8 inches long, that's native to the Tianshan mountain range of the remote Xinjiang region of China. Living on sloping bare rock faces and feeding on grasses at high elevations, this little creature is very rare, there are less than 1,000 left. The species was only discovered in 1983, but its numbers have declined by almost 70% since then, reports CNN. This is because the mammal's habitat is being affected by climate change. Rising temperatures have forced the pikas to retreat up into the mountain tops. In addition, grazing pressure from livestock and air pollution have likely contributed to their decline. Giant otter. Found only in South America, giant otters, or Pteronura brasiliensis, are the largest otters in the world, with some as long as 6 feet. Historically, giant otters were hunted for their pelts, causing a huge decline in their numbers. While they are no longer hunted today, they remain endangered because many of their aquatic habitats, rivers and lakes, have been degraded and destroyed, causing the fish populations they rely on for food to dwindle. They are often viewed as nuisances by humans, especially by fishermen. They are also threatened by gold mining in the region, which leads to mercury poisoning. Amur leopard. The solitary Amur leopard, Panthera pardus orientalis, is one of the world's most endangered wild cats. It has a thick yellow or rusty orange coat with long dense hair, and can weigh up to 120 pounds. It can leap more than 19 feet, and it can run at speeds up to 37 miles per hour. It's now found only in the Amur River basin of eastern Russia, having already gone extinct from China and the Korean peninsula. According to WWF, there are around 60 Amur leopards left in the wild. Black-footed ferret. As a member of the weasel family, the black-footed ferret Mustela nigripes is the only ferret native to North America. They have tan bodies, black legs and feet, a black tip on their tail and a black mask. They are highly specialized carnivores, with prairie dogs making up more than 90% of their diet. The main threats endangering these carnivores are disease and lack of habitat, brought on largely because prairie dogs were poisoned for a large number of years, eliminating food source in many of their habitats. The black-footed ferret was twice thought to be extinct, but recovery efforts, notably captive breeding and reintroduction to the wild, have helped bring the animals back from the brink of extinction. Today, there are about 300 to 400 black-footed ferrets in the wild, according to the IUCN, all of which are descendants of the 18 ferrets that were part of captive breeding efforts in the late 1980s. Darwin's fox. Named after the famous scientist Charles Darwin, who discovered the species in 1834, Darwin's fox, like Alopex fulvipes, is found in Chile in 2 places, the Nahuelbuta National Park and the island of Chiloé. Dark in color with short legs, this carnivorous creature is active mostly at twilight and dawn. These carnivorous creatures are considered an umbrella species, which means that protecting them in their temperate forest homes helps preserve the entire ecosystem. According to the IUCN, they are threatened by habitat loss, hunting, and non-native species, particularly domestic dogs. Sumatran Rhinoceros. As the only Asian rhino with 2 horns, the Sumatran rhinoceros Dicerorhinus sumatrensis is the smallest of the rhino family, living in isolated pockets of dense mountain forests in Malaysia, Indonesia and possibly Myanmar, Burma. They are recognizable because they are covered in long hair, which helps keep mud caked to their body to cool them and protect them from insects. They are one of the most endangered rhinos in the world, along with the Javan rhino, with maybe only 220 to 275 Sumatran rhinos left in the world, according to WWF. Greatly threatened by poaching, they are, like other rhinos, hunted for their horns. There is no indication that the population is stable and only 2 captive females have reproduced in the last 15 years. White-rumped vulture. One of 3 critically endangered species of vulture, the white-rumped vulture, Gyps bengalensis, has suffered what the IUCN classifies as a catastrophic decline across the Indian subcontinent, to the point that it is highly threatened with extinction. Over 99% of its population has been wiped out since the 1980s, making it the fastest decline of any bird species in recorded history, according to Mother Nature Network. White-rumped vulture feeds exclusively on carrion, mainly remains of cattle. Unfortunately, this food caused large declines in vultures' populations since the 1990s. The veterinary use of diclofenac leaves traces in the cattle carcasses, involving poisoning for vultures and other scavengers. Pangolin. Found in forests and grasslands, pangolins are solitary, nocturnal creatures with scales covering their bodies and long sticky tongues to slurp up ants and termites. They are about the size of a house cat, and look a little bit like artichokes on legs. When frightened, they defend themselves by rolling up into a ball. These critters, found in Asia and Africa, are endangered because they are increasingly the victims of wildlife crime for their meat and scales. In fact, according to CNN, they are believed to be the most trafficked mammal in the world. It is estimated that 100,000 are captured every year. Saola. First discovered in May 1992, the Saola, Pseudorix nagenhensis, is often called the Asian unicorn. It is a rarely seen, critically endangered mammal. In fact, it is so rare that scientists have only seen it in the wild 4 times, according to WWF. Both male and female Saolas have 2 parallel horns on their heads, they have white markings on their face, and they look like antelopes, though they are actually cousins of cattle. They live in the forests of Vietnam and Laos. According to the IUCN, Saolas are threatened by hunting and the continued fragmentation of their habitat as a result of human activities, such as road building. Vaquita. First discovered in 1958, the Vaquita, Phocona sinus, also known as the Gulf of California harbor porpoise, is the smallest cetacean, an order of animals that include whales, dolphins, and porpoises. Only about 5 feet long, this porpoise has a gray body, a pale gray or white belly, a dark patch around its eyes, and dark patches forming a line from its mouth to its pectoral fins. As the world's rarest marine mammal, the vaquita is on the edge of extinction. According to the International Committee for the Recovery of the Vaquita, only about 60 of these animals remain. This marks a 40% decrease in their population since 2014. These little porpoises are often caught and drowned in gill nets used by illegal fishing operations within Mexico's Gulf of California, according to WWF. Because they are confined to such a small region, they may also be vulnerable to climate change, as warming temperatures could affect their food availability and habitat conditions. Peruvian black spider monkey. Black spider monkeys feeding on moldering wood out of a hole in a dead tree in Manu National Park, Peru. Found in eastern South America north of the Amazon River, the Peruvian black spider monkey, Ateles chamek, spends much of its time in the canopy of the rainforest. Eating mainly fruit, these monkeys are an essential part of the tropical rainforest ecosystem, playing a role in seed dispersal. Also known as red-faced or Guiana spider monkeys, the population is believed to have declined by at least 50% over the past 45 years, according to the IUCN. They are threatened by hunting, fragmentation, and the destruction of their tropical rainforest homes. The red wolf. Native to the southeast and Florida, red wolves are considered a critically endangered species by the IUCN. There are now only around 25 to 40 left in the wild, and they all live in eastern North Carolina. Red wolves are particularly known for their shyness and their penchant for mating for life. The species is on the brink of extinction, despite efforts to save it. Red wolves were originally distributed throughout the southeastern and south-central United States from the Atlantic Ocean to central Texas, southeastern Oklahoma and southwestern Illinois in the west, and in the north from the Ohio River Valley, northern Pennsylvania and southern New York south to the Gulf of Mexico. The red wolf was nearly driven to extinction by the mid-1900s due to aggressive predator control programs, habitat destruction, and extensive hybridization with coyotes. By the late 1960s, it occurred in small numbers in the Gulf Coast of western Louisiana and eastern Texas. That's all for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my Facebook page. See you next time.